that, just the Hall of Fame players. But I think the Hall of Fame players should have a say on who goes into the Hall of Fame. But that'll probably never happen because history, they won't allow that to happen. But I think that the players can pick much better than the sports writers who goes into a Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. If you've done it, you've got a better idea of how good people are.
Well, I would think so.
You would hope so, right? I mean, that's kind of right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, if you're, for myself, if I'm going for a defensive back that is getting, a lot of interceptions and getting a lot of turnovers and stuff, fumbles, and always being around the football and everything, and he's done it for 10, 12, 14 years, well, then he has to be considered over somebody who doesn't.
Exactly. Now, obviously, that was your specialty. And then now after football, of course, this is a Loudmouth radio show, and Loudmouth Golf, obviously, we're big fans of that. And you actually did a little, had a little stint with a golf course, or tell us about that.
I own two golf courses. I used to own two golf courses, and I played a lot of golf. I worked my handicap down there pretty good.
I bet you did.
When I turned 50, I tried to qualify for some senior events, but I didn't do that. But I did fairly well in the Celebrity Players Tour.
Yep.
And so it was. I had fun doing it, but I never thought that I was. I was a football player. I never thought that I was going to be a regular PGA player or anything like that, because there's a lot of difference in abilities.
Isn't that funny?
Those guys out there playing on PGA Tour are unbelievable.
We talk about that a lot. We talk to a lot of athletes on air, and I was a 3-sport athlete myself, and golf is one of those things that it's a totally different animal. It's in your head, and you're beating yourself up out there is what you're doing, and it's a great distraction for sure.
It's a true head game, but a lot of the sports are head games. But I'll tell you what, when you're out there on the golf course, that's a little ball in you.
Exactly. You got nobody to blame, do you?
That's right. That's right.
Hey, Paul, I had one more question for you. I got a kick out of I read some stuff up on you, and one of the things that got a kick out of me was you grew up in Flint, Michigan, but you actually were in a small part of the town with like 300 other kids. And one of my favorite quotes from you was that you had to move to Iowa to get a culture shock from a big school. How does someone go from Flint, Michigan to Iowa to move up into the big time? How does that work?
Well, something, the cultural shock was not athletically, it was socially. Because in Flint, Michigan, it was a big General Motors town back then, and it was a great athletic area. Even the state of Michigan was a great athletic area. But I'm talking about when I used to go out to the University of Iowa my freshman year, and people would drive up to, it's a little town, and they'd drive their cars into town and park their car, and it'll leave it running and go into the store and shop. And a cultural shock. That car wouldn't be there for five seconds.
I'm glad to see nothing in Flint has changed.
That's right. Yeah, I mean that was a cultural shock for me. The people of Iowa just did so many things differently than what I was used to growing up, and but the way it turned out, that was the best thing I ever did, was to get away from Michigan and go to Iowa, go to school, play athletics there. It taught me how other people live, other people in different states and things, and that was the shock for me.
All right, so I got another question for you. Every Halloween, do you play Purple People Eater on your radio?
No, I don't. No. I was never one to do that.
No Purple People Eater songs. And then one other question: what was your thought process as you were with everybody else in America 2 years ago when you think after Minnesota had a bridge collapse that they would kind of pay attention to other structural buildings in the city, and then all of a sudden everybody live watched their roof collapse there in Minnesota? Any thoughts on that? Were you glad you weren't playing there anymore? Or?
Well, I mean, my goodness, that was years after that was like 30 years after I played.
I think that stadium's the same stadium you played in, though.
No. I never played in the Dome.
No, I know.
I never played in the Dome, and I didn't like playing indoors. I always had a saying, if cows can't eat it, I don't want to play on it. I mean, when we first went into the stadiums, Houston had one, Detroit had one, Seattle had one, and New Orleans had one, and that was it. All they did was put asphalt down and a rug over it. And that was not really a great field to play on.
Well, I'm sure that's come a long way, too. And we do appreciate you calling in, Paul. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to speak to a Hall of Famer. And, of course, congratulations on the NFL record in interceptions. I don't think anybody's catching you.
Well, I don't know if it's ever going to be broke, but if it will be broke, it'll be by a Hall of Fame player.
Exactly. And they'll probably have to call you and tell you it was broken.
Go ahead.
I said they'll probably have to call you on the phone and say, hey, by the way, Paul, it was your record was broken today.
Yeah.
Because you're not looking behind you.
It's been about 33 or 34 years now.
Oh, yeah, you got it, man.
It's been a pretty long standing record, but I enjoy holding the record.
Heck yeah!
I like to think that I've done something that nobody else has ever done before, and it's funny. If you're a pass receiver or a sack guy or a quarterback and everything, you hear about all those records and everything, but you never hear about interceptions. And it's one of the biggest plays in football.
Yep, well, we're going to help spread the word, sir, and thank you so much for calling in Loudmouth Radio. Hope to talk to you again soon.
All right, we'll see you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Loudmouth Radio will be right back after this.